hammer and tool handles.
This goes along with your arm health. You know, what you're trying to do is do a lot of things to keep your arms in shape. And one of the best ways that I found to do that is to treat my hammer handles. Make sure they fit your hand to begin with, and then I impregnate mine with oil. One of the ways I found to make cheap hammer handles is to go to the dadgum Home Depot and buy 1x2 oak strips. They got trim that's long. They cost about $1 a foot. And I just cut them to fit, shove them in my hammerhead, and I use them in a lot of my hand tools. They're oak, but they work fine, and they'll last. So,
Bob, remember the folks at the feed stores.
It's really interesting when I get the luxury of watching a lot of people just start out shoeing, and referrals, word of mouth is the way it goes. When you call a vet clinic and you want to meet the vet because you're new in town, you're only going to meet the people in the front. And when people are looking for farriers, where are they going to go? They're going to go where the horse business is. We had one really large feed store in the town when I was shoeing, and the gals that worked there worked behind the counter. And I was in there one day in line buying something, and a lady in front was looking for a farrier. She wanted to know, do you know any farriers? I'm looking for somebody. Well, it dawned on me that these people that work behind the counter are the ones that do the referrals. The vet's not going to stop his surgery to come out and say hi to you as a new farrier. So every year when we'd have a little bit of a cold spell, this is California cold spell, folks, not what we're doing here. They had a little catering service in town, and I would have a big thing of hot chocolate and some little hors d'oeuvre finger food brought over with a note that said, "Thank you so much for all the referrals." Valentine's Day, I had one vet clinic in town that I never got a referral from. And at Valentine's Day, I dropped off a big box of candy with a note that said, "Thank you for expressing confidence in my business and the referrals." Every girl in there thought that everybody else was referring it, and I started getting referrals from that clientele. So it doesn't necessarily come from the veterinarians. It comes from who answers the phone and who's the front person. So be sure you take care of those in your local area.
Optimal conditions, Mike.
Optimal conditions. Conditions that you work in can make or break you in your business. If you're standing underneath a horse and the ground's uneven, your hips, your back is uneven. You can't look at that foot uneven. If you're dropping a foot in mud or dirt, you can't do a good job. One of the things I demand from my clients is a matted area, a cement area, asphalt area, something flat, clean that I can shoe on. I also want power somewhere. I want to be out of the sunlight. I want a little shade. If it's a hot day, I want somewhere where there's a little breeze. The conditions you work on can make or break you in this business really fast. So be aware of that. If you have a client that is a good client's been with you and they just can't get a good area, maybe you want to get together with them on a Saturday and fix up an area there if you like them. Make your conditions for you and shoe there.
Okay, here's your handle treatment, Steve.
excellent. Okay, so make your hammer handles fit your hands and then soak them. I like to soak them in boiled linseed oil, and you can make a cheap, easy soaker with simple stuff. You know, I use 2-inch PVC pipe. I make about an 18-inch long because I use sledgehammers as well in my work, and I want my sledgehammers to be just as good as my hand hammers. And as I'm going along, in order to get that hammer handle to suck up that oil, I'll char it a little bit. I'll get it hot in the fire, or you can use a blowtorch, knock off the char with a sanding block, and then go straight to the soaker tube and drop it in there and forget about it for 24 hours. All right, let it soak up that oil. It will pay off in dividends because what it does is it makes a nice, firm, easy grip. It's when we hurt our arms is when we're gripping so hard, okay? You don't want to grip your tongs. Make sure your tongs fit, and you don't want to grip your hammer. Make sure that I can walk by and grab that hammer out of your hand, and it'll just come out clean, all right? Don't grip your stuff. Make it easy to keep them in your hands. And the other slide should show other, next one. Oh, that's it. Never mind. I'm done with you.
All right, last tip. Bob, make a flight plan and let somebody know about it.
If you're shoeing out in rural areas, and particularly those guys that shoe by themselves, that you're out there kind of on your own, and a lot of us have accounts where we just pull into and the people are gone at work and we shoe for, make sure somebody has a little flight plan and know where you're going to be so that when you don't come home, they can see where the body's laying. It's kind of important when you're on your own out there working and there's nobody else around, particularly when you're doing the backyard horses where you're going from house to house to house, and a lot of these people, both husband and wife work, kids are in school. It's important that people know where you're at. We had a local farrier that the horse struck him in the head and knocked him out, and he was there, they estimated 3 or 4 hours before somebody happened to come by and see where he's at. Nobody knew that he was late for his next appointment except for the client. It's important that somebody knows where you're going to be all the time, particularly if you're out in that real rural area by yourself.